Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, New Etheria, Evil Horde, Despara. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got Mattel 6 and Up, the peg hook, hooky hook thing. 30 points of articulation. The top flap, Masterverse with all that 1980s goodness of rocky explosions. Then moving around to the front, we have a small window showcasing some of the figure and her accessories. And then we've got some nice big artwork. Masters of the Universe, New Etheria, Despara. Despara. So, and then there she is. Lots of Horde troopers around her. And then this lady, and I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be the octopus lady? I'm not sure. Those don't really look like octopus tentacles. So, but then there's some rest of it. So that's a little teaser. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. On the bottom here, we have small print, fine print, legalese print, made in Vietnam print. Symbols I'm not going to learn. A question mark, contents, one figure, accessories, assortment numbers if you need those kind of things, and a barcode. On this side, we've got Despara and Adora, the Evil Horde. And then here on the back, we've got the Evil Horde. Some nice Fright Zone stuff in the background. Nice practical shot of the figure in the foreground. At least I'm assuming that's what it is. And then these may be digital renders of some of the figure's features. You can make her Adora. She can have just a helmet. And she's got sheaths for two of her swords, or straps at least. And then there's some more nice artwork of her. Despara, powerful captain of the Evil Horde. After learning of her past as Princess Adora, Despara now searches for the power of Grayskull so she can usurp Hordak's throne as leader of the Evil Horde. That doesn't sound very She-Rish to me. Also available, each sold separately, subject to availability. Colors and decorations may vary. Mattel empowering generations through play. And then here's the cross sale of Dragstore, Keldor, and this figure, Despara. That, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and her accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us take a look at the accessories. And first up, she comes with something that's not new to this line. A set of fists. Nice molded details. In and out hinges. Molded in this flesh tone plastic, it would appear. There's two of those, a left and a right. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. Next up, she does come with a pair of swords, and they appear to be both the same. Got like the Horde symbol with the bat wings on it here at the handguard. Some nice molded details for the hand grip on the hilt. The pommel, it's a nice round piece with a straight line going through it. And it's like that on both sides, and you can see like the Hordak face in there. And then the shape of the sword kind of has that sort of protection kind of shape to it without the curly cues, like I like to call them, coming up on the side. And of course no jewel in the middle. So that's nice. And again, like I said, there are 2 of these. Then she also comes with 2 different helmets or masks, whatever you want to call it. 2 different attachments for the evil face. So first she comes with this helmet that's kind of spiky here in the middle. Or is that a fin? That's a fin in the middle, and then it's got these big fins off to the side. And unfortunately it's not a whole helmet. It just kind of clips into place on her face, and we'll get to that in just a minute. And then the same deal with this full face mask. It just kind of clips, and these clips on the side here hold it kind of where it's supposed to be. So it's got this white deco, and I think it's molded all in white. So it's got these black deco pieces on it and these red deco pieces on it, and the white is the plastic. So I would have to say kind of scary in a kabuki-ish kind of way, Japanese theater-ish way. And then the final loose piece is the alternate head, which is Adora, which of course the Despara is Adora, but anyway, they have a kind of a different look to it. That one's got, you know, red eyes and the hair shaved on the side and pulled back, and this one's just kind of full flowing, and it looks okay. It's a little weird looking though, and I can't quite place my hands on what's wrong. Maybe the hair is too far back. She's got too much forehead going on. I don't know. The paint, the deco looks nice though. It's on the cheeks. The eyes look pretty straight. The eyebrows are good. The mouth looks okay. And lots of nice molded detail in the hair. Maybe a little bit of a wash would have helped that. But yeah, I think that the forehead is kind of big, and that's what's throwing me off maybe. And I know the animation model from the original cartoon was kind of like that too, but I don't know. It just seems like this version, the forehead doesn't look like there's as much of it. Maybe it is. It's maybe the way the hair's sitting. I don't know. But that one looks, you know, it's just a little off looking to me. I don't know. It's just me. So here we get a nice look at the evil face, and you can see the red eyes in there. And there's a black around it, or are the eyes black? No. There's black around it, and then there's red in the eyes. And then some color on the cheeks and the lips. And then you can see the sculpt for the hair. You know, it's kind of like mohawky there. It's like the sides are real short. And it's all slicked back. So, you know, I mean, not a horrible look for the character, but it works for what they were going with here. So then this piece is an overlay. It does have 2 slots back here for her swords to go in. It's got this nice silvery color to it, and then we've got this paint apps here and here, and then, you know, the arms pretty much white plastic, I think, and then this is a separate piece, and it's got this gold paint on it. And same thing on the other side here. She does have this loose piece horde armband. The armor section here at the bottom is also an overlay that can come off, and we'll get to the overlays coming off in a minute. So nice belt buckle there, and again that silver color to the armor, and then it's got some outlines on it as well. Soft goods cloak, pretty much the same as every soft goods piece we've gotten in the Masterverse line. Got a little bit of gold paint app right here at the bottom of the boot cuff. And then that's it. Everything else looks to be molded in color. Now the way the masks work, and we'll get to articulation in just a minute when we get the armor off. So, you know, it just kind of clips on there and stays. Gives her a very military look. Put this one on her, it gives her a very scary kind of look. So there is that, and then again the swords will go right into these slots, and then it's made for them to cross over like that, I think. So there is that. Now, as far as the armor coming off, it does hinder some of the articulation, especially in the legs, and there's issues with the legs that we'll get to in a minute. But just like most other masters of the universe armor, it's just got these tabs and these straps with the slots in them. And dang it. Let me get this off camera. There you go. You do have to pop the head off to get this armor off, but that's okay, because if you're pulling armor off, you probably need to get the head off anyway. And then this piece, I'm just going to leave this on here, but you can work it off. You can heat this up and pop the arm apart and slide it off that way if you want to. Again, the bottom of the bottom overlay, it unclasps just like the other one, but it does have these straps on the legs as well, which is where the armor hinders up the articulation. But it all comes right off of there. Then you pop the alternate head on it, if it'll go on there. Or maybe that's on there. Kind of feels like it's on there. Good. So you pop that on there, and now you have Adora, leader of, or maybe not leader of, but big part of the Great Rebellion on Etheria. Now, I will say this for this version of the character: if you want a more accurate one, of course, I do remember, I think she had bare legs on that one, so you can pop these legs off, and you could pop a Tila leg off, and the same thing with the boots, if that's something you want to do. And I may do that. I'm not 100% sure yet, because there are some quality issues with this figure. Again, we've already taken a look at the head and most of this figure. She's got some gold paint apps up here on the shoulders that come down. I do believe the white here is a paint app, and there's some textural details in there. I don't know if they're really showing up. They're kind of very light. And then she's got a gold paint app right here on this overlay, and a black for the belt. And then other than that, it's pretty much the same. Now, as far as her articulation goes, with this head on, she doesn't really look up. She can look down that far, and it's that just regular dumbbell in the neck. She's got a little bit of chicken neck. She's got some waggle. She might do the full exorcist. Nope. Head just pops off if you try to do the full exorcist, or at least this one does. So there is that. No butterfly in the shoulder. 360 degrees of rotation at the shoulder though. And then she can raise it up that high, which is slightly better than 90 degrees. Cut at the upper bicep. No, mistake. There is no cut at the upper bicep. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, because I keep forgetting that they switched the female bucks over to that. And you get that much bend, not even 90 degrees worth. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist, in and out hinge, and in and out hinge on this side, as well as a cut where the chest and the abdomen meet. That gives her hula. It gives her a little bit of twist. She can lean back about that far. She can crunch forward just slightly, and she can lean left and right there as well. Straight cut at the waist, 360 degrees of rotation there. At the hips, which is where we can run into a problem, there is a pull down hinge, and it does give you that much of the splits. But I will say, just like the other figures off of this female mold, this leg has some issues where it does not want to move. Even heating it up, it still had issues, and I went through 2 of these and they broke right here, almost at the end of the peg. Not where the ball is, but on the inside. So I'm working on those to see if there's a way I can fix those and maybe reuse one as Despara and one as Adora. I don't know yet. But I did pop the leg off of this one, and I went in with a tool and scraped down some of the detents, which seems to be what's causing the issue. But I shaved them down with like a nail thing they use at nail salons, with a ball tip on it that was rough, and I went in there and kind of shaved down some of the detents in here, and that it did help. But I'm still very careful with this one because I don't want it to break yet again. So she can kick forward about that far as far as I'm gonna go with it, and back about that far, 1.5 steps maybe. Cut at the upper thigh, and it's really tight. 360 degrees of rotation there. Double hinged, pinless knee. And it gives you that much bend. At the upper shin, there's a boot cut. 360 degrees of rotation there. And then at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far. And then a pin for rocker. And there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and her accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Etheria Despara, with the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Etheria She-Ra, the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Eternia Teela, and finally, the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Eternia Evelyn. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Etheria Despara, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final ramblings on the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Etheria Despara, I have to say it's cool that we finally have a Despara in a Masters of the Universe line. There could have been one in Classics that I'm not aware of. I don't think they've done one in Origins yet. But again, I could be wrong because I don't really currently follow that line too much, at least. And so I think it's cool that we finally have a Despara in, figure form, at least as far as I know. And I will say this one is a little bit of a mixed bag. I think there are some QC issues in the plastic used for the hips, because this is my third one and the other two broke in the exact same place. Just trying to articulate their legs. One I warmed up, one I didn't, and snappity snap. The armor on this figure is cool. The lower armor, however, they put straps on the legs, and that does hinder the leg movement of this figure, the range of motion in the legs for this figure. So that's a drawback as well. And I'm not super loving the mask and the helmet for Despara, and I don't really love the Etheria head for this figure. It's just something's off about it. The forehead may be too big. It just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't match the look of the character in my mind's eye from the Filmation show. And so, I mean, that's on me. That's my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary. You could love that, the look of that, and that's fine. That's okay. I respect that. But for me personally, I just don't really care for it. I would have liked to have seen like the mask and the helmet either be alternate heads for this character, or like the wig pieces. That would probably have worked the best, I think, because the look of them on the figure just, it's kind of odd looking, because it doesn't, at least in my opinion, cover enough of the head. I mean, there's hair poking up and stuff, and I really don't think that's the look that Despara would be going for. So now, on the bright side of things, I will say at least they do give you two figures, your two characters in one figure. You can make it Despara, you can make it Etheria simply by replacing the head and removing some overlays or adding some, however you want to do it. So I do think that was cool on their part. So we kind of got two characters knocked out with one figure. So that's neat. And then, the soft goods Mattel's using in this line aren't the greatest, but at least they're consistent with it. And all the material, the type of material that they're using, it does all seem to match up. So there is that. It does have that consistency with the soft goods. But this figure, overall, I have to say, it's an okay figure. It's not a great figure. The QC issues that plagued the other female figures ever since they, changed Bucks for the new Etheria line. Just, they've done some things with this mold I'm not happy about. First of all, they replaced the arms with less articulated arms. They went a step backwards with them and gave them single hinge and swivel rather than double hinged pinless. Now, at least they didn't do that with the legs. The legs are still double hinged pinless, so that's good. I don't know exactly what is going on with the left leg on the female figures, but I did find a fix for it, and you just kind of have to grind out some of the detents on the inside of the leg. It probably would be okay if you did that on the outside of the leg too, but I just really, it was easier for me to get the stuff on the inside of the leg and just kind of, grind those detents down, not all the way, but, just lightly grind them until, and try it back on until you get the results that you want. And I will say, you know, I heated it up, grinded it down, heated it up, put it back on, and it was really loose, and then over time it kind of tightened back up some. So just something to be aware of if you try that fix, which I'm not telling you to do. I'm just telling you that's what worked for me. Your experience may not be the same. So don't go running, well, Digital Caveman told me to do this. No, Digital Caveman ain't telling you to do this. I'm just telling you this is what I did to mine to fix the issue to my satisfaction. At least so far. So it doesn't look like it's putting as much strain on that that hip peg as it was. It still doesn't freely move, but you get a better range out of, or at least I get a better range out of it after having applied that fix. But again, your experience may vary. You may not get the results I got. I'm not telling you to do that to the figure. I'm just telling you this is what I did to fix it, and if you want to try it, do so at your own risk. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks, and I'll see you next time. But I do have one last thing to add, and I will say the second figure that I bought of Despair, the first one I bought from, and we'll leave the place unnamed, but they don't take back returns pretty much, and I only got it there because at the time Big Bad Toy Store, which is where I normally order stuff from, was, their pre-orders were sold out, so I ordered it from this other place, and I've done a couple of things through them in the past. Their shipping is more, their customer service, I didn't deal with their customer service, but they don't do returns, so there's that. But the second one that I got and had the same issue with Big Bad Toy Store's customer service, took care of it for me with no problem. I think they have some of the best customer service, if not the best customer service in the toy industry. And so big thanks to Lars and the other Big Bad Toy Store customer service reps there, because I've always had pleasant experience with those guys. So there is that. And with that, the end.